Thank you, Brenda. That was absolutely beautiful. Good morning. I am Diane Vigent. I am a member of the care team here at UUFF. Welcome to this gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fayetteville. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religious tradition that values freedom in religious thought and journey. We uphold the unity of our interconnections, connections to each other, to all of life, and to the precious universe of which we are a part. We affirm the universality of love and hope as we journey together in community. We welcome you, whoever you are at this moment and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. For those joining us for the first time on Facebook, please check out our website, uufayetteville.org, for more information and to sign up to receive the weekly email. You can always unsubscribe if you wish. For those visiting us here in person today, you'll find in the seat back in front of you a visitor information card. We would love for you to fill that out so we can put you on the mailing list, on the email list, and keep you informed of UUFF happenings. If you have already given your name and contact information, you don't need to do it again. We've already got you. There are also yellow joys and concerns cards in the seat backs. If you have a joy or concern that you would like to share, we invite you to fill out a card. There's a place to indicate if you want your joy or concern shared, or if you want to keep it confidential, shared only with leadership. In a few minutes, you will have an opportunity to bring the card up here and drop a stone in the bowl over here if you wish. You may drop a stone even if you don't fill out a card. If you're watching on Facebook, you may write your joys and concerns in the comments there at that time. Please note, if you are doing that on Facebook, your comments will be public. A staff nursery is available downstairs. Now Reverend Stephen has a few words for us.
Thank you, Diane. Our call to worship this morning is from a prayer by Bruce Southworth. O creative spirit of life, in which we live and move and have our being, we give thanks for all of nature's bounties. We give thanks for caring friends and compassionate neighbors. We give thanks for the communion of those who seek to serve others. Each of us carries our private griefs and burdens. Sometimes we can share these. And for the open hearts which respond, we are grateful. Sometimes the world bears heavily upon us. We struggle alone, search the depths and long for healing, for renewed hope, for strength, which give their grace and peace. May we be strengthened in efforts to be of service. On this day and every day, may we give thanks. But let us also be dissatisfied with the world as it is, for a new world is waiting to be realized. May our spirit and bodies be nourished and nurtured as we give thanks and praise of all that sustains, heals, and holds all that is holy. Amen. And now Ollie has our chalice lighting.
Hello. Please join me in lighting the chalice. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, seek knowledge in truth, and to help one another. Thus do we covenant together.
Good morning. How about the spring that is just blooming all around us? Isn't it beautiful? Aren't we so lucky to live here? The colors are just breathtaking. Let's sing about it. Morning has broken. Please rise if you are able. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Thank you. Please be seated. Really quick, before our story for all ages, somebody gave me a beautiful iris bulb, and this was a master gardener, used to sell at the farmer's market, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to kill this plant. I'm going to kill this plant. It was a Siberian iris, if you're a gardener. And I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I should give this plant away, right? What do you think she said? No, plant it. You can do it. Renee told me our soil is crap. And so I'm like, it's crap. It's terrible. Not the good crap, the bad crap. So anyway, I found a spot. I even got Maddie out of her bed, which she's always in her room because she's 14. She came out to help me. Guys, the soil was just like blah on top, old mulch. I was like, this is going to be terrible soil. What happened? It was so beautiful underneath there. It was so rich and dark, and I was like, oh my gosh, who knew it was under here, under the soil? And we planted our little iris, and I'm just saying, it resonates with the song. So you just never know what's under there. Get in the dirt is all I'm saying. Thank you.
We have a fitting story for today. It's a sick day for Amos McGee by Philip Steed. However, it says it's by Leanda, and right now she's currently homesick, so I'm filling in for her. So we have a sick day by Amos McGee. Andrew McGee was an early riser. Every morning when the alarm clock changed, he swung his knees out of bed and swapped his pajamas for fresh pressed uniform. He would wind his watch and set a pot of water to boil, saying to the sugar, a spoonful for my oatmeal, please, and 2 for my teacup. Belly full and ready for the workday, he ambled out the door.
Every day, Amos waited for the number 5 bus. Next stop, City Zoo. The bus driver would call 6 a.m., right on time, he'd reply. Amos had a lot to do at the zoo, but he always made time to visit his good friends. He would play chess with an elephant, who thought and thought before making a move. He ran races with the tortoise, who never lost. Sit quietly with the penguin, who was very shy. And lend a handkerchief to the rhinoceros, who always had a runny nose. And at sunset, read stories to the owl, who was afraid of the dark. One day, Amos awoke with the sniffles and the sneezes and the chills. He swung his achy legs out of bed, curled them back again, and said, "Ugh, I don't think I'm going to work today." Uh-oh, his friends are worried about him. Meanwhile, at the zoo, the animals waited for their friend. The elephant arranged his pawns and polished his castles. The tortoise stretched his legs and limbered up. The penguin sat patiently all by himself, and the rhinoceros, worried about his allergies, were worsening. The owl perched atop of a tall stack of storybooks, scratching his head with concern. "Where is Amos?" the animals wondered. Uh-oh, they're escaping. Dun, dun, dun. Hooray, my friends are here! They escaped and ran to him. The elephant partaked in a game of chess. Amos thought and thought before making a move. "I'm too tired to run races today," said Amos to the tortoise. "Let's play hide and seek instead." The tortoise hid inside his shell, and Amos hid beneath the covers. Amos yawned. "I could take a nap." The penguin sat quietly, keeping Amos's feet warm. Achoo! Amos awoke with a sneeze. The rhinoceros was ready with a handkerchief. "I'm beginning to feel much better, thank you," said Amos to his friend. He swung his legs off the bed, "and perhaps we'll share a pot of tea." Amos wound his alarm clock. "It's getting late," he said. "After all, we have a morning bus to catch." So Amos said good night to the elephant, good night to the tortoise, good night to the penguin, good night to the rhinoceros, good night to the owl, who knows Amos was afraid of the dark, and read a story out loud before turning out the light. And they all snuggled happily and went back to the zoo. Thank you.
As a diverse people, we share our various joys and concerns. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we are devastated. Sometimes we rejoice, and sometimes we mourn. In all of those times, we support and care for each other. So we invite you to share your ups and downs as you desire. You can come up to the front and drop a stone for any joy or concern, shared or confidential, expressed or held in your heart. As you drop your stone, may you experience the spreading of love and support. If you filled out a card, you can bring it to me. On the card, please be sure you indicate whether your comment is confidential or to be shared. If you need to stay where you are, feel free to just hold your card up and someone will bring it to me. If you are attending virtually, you may write your joys and concerns in the comments. Please remember that those comments are public and will be shared. You can bring your cards up if you wish. Reverend Stephen will now drop a stone for joys and concerns not spoken, and another for joys and concerns we will experience in the coming week. And may we now have a moment of silence as we hold all of these joys and concerns in our hearts. It is now time for the offering. The important work of this fellowship is possible because of generous contributions of time, energy, and money. Every contribution of every size is helpful and appreciated. As we pass the offering baskets, we invite you to share financially. If you prefer, you may also give online at uufayetteville.org or mail checks to our office. The announcements are on the screen in the order of service. I'd like to mention a couple of them to you particularly. Number one, sorry. Reverend Stephen.
This morning, I'm going to play a song for you called Carrying You. It's from a movie called Castle in the Sky, which I have never seen. And so the image that I get going in my mind is my own creation. So what I picture is a battlefield, and the battle is over, and the surviving soldiers are walking out onto the stillness of that battlefield and finding their wounded and carrying them to safety. And that's one of the pictures that I get in my mind for the fellowship here at UUFF.
Thank you, Brenda. So, Stephanie, it was interesting that you mentioned about the soil and that you used the word dirt, because when I was in college, I had to take 2 science classes, and one of them was environmental science. And some of the professors in that department hated people calling soil dirt. But I'm not a soil scientist. However, Friday on my drive here, well, I drove here Friday and yesterday from a work trip to Texas. And in the car, I was listening to NPR, and there was a Friday talk show. And the featured guests on this talk show were the author of a book called 100 Plants to Feed the Birds, and a couple of scientists, including a soil specialist. And I learned a lot. Some of the things on the show are things already known by some of you. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a gardener. So I learned a lot. And one of the things mentioned on the show, and I think I've learned this before, I don't think about it a lot, but local plants are good for local animals and good for the ecosystem. And plants from other places kind of mess up the system. And soil and plants communicate with each other and help each other. So underground, these plant roots and other organisms in the soil are interacting with each other, and the soil has a whole bunch of living organisms interacting with each other. It's not just dirt. But sometimes I call it dirt. It's okay. And this changed my thinking about this message, because I've been thinking about how we care for each other. This really broadened it. So I'd planned to anchor this message in our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and that's helpful, but this got me thinking about the 7th principle too, this interdependent web of all existence, the interconnection between all of us, with us being way more than human but more. So one reason we care for each other is that we are parts of a big living world. All of that interacting that's happening in the soil happens throughout the world. And that's a good reason to care for each other. But caring for each other can sometimes be hard. According to the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, if their needs are not recognized and addressed, family caregivers risk burnout from the prolonged distress and physical demands of caregiving, and the nation will bear the costs. And I know there's a good number of us in this room who know this from firsthand experience, that caregiving can lead to burnout. But there is a brighter side. The Association for Psychological Science summarizes a bunch of research to say that helping others can be good for the caregivers if they choose to care and if they perceive their efforts to actually help. So if caring is our choice, it's not demanded of us, we choose to care, and that seems to be somewhat effective in some way, then it can help. Research has shown that giving a gift to someone else has been linked to an increased self-esteem, self-worth, and feelings of social connection with the recipient. Even among animals other than humans, caretaking behaviors such as grooming can be linked to lower stress levels and fewer anxiety-related behaviors. So caring for other people can be good not just for the care receivers, but also the caregivers. And an article in the journal Current Directions in Psychological Science gives an example. Consider a case in which you decide that you would like to do something for your partner after a long day of work. You know that they enjoy a pasta dish that you cook, and you decide to make it for them. Most social support research has focused on the potential benefits for your partner while overlooking the benefits to you, the support giver. However, by doing something for someone else, you may also benefit yourself. So we know that caring for each other can help the care receivers, and research indicates that caregiving can help the providers too. An article from the World Economic Forum mentions some of this and adds that even caring for a pet can have a common effect and can provide meaning and purpose. And when we are less stressed, happier, and better socially integrated, we make better decisions for the long term. Now, there are altruistic reasons to care for each other. Maybe we care for each other to be nice, just to be nice. But even if we are more self-interested, self-centered, we still have plenty of reasons to help people. The benefits go both ways. And there are many ways to care for each other. Here at UUFF, all of our ministries are helping people in various ways. We're all helping each other. And I want to highlight 3 of those ministries this morning. One of them is the care team. Well, I want to mention the care team, the pastoral care team, and the pastoral care volunteers, and the ministerial discretionary fund. First, the care team. Each week, UUFF sends out an email newsletter that you may have received. You may have heard of this in one of our services. We mention it a lot. And we call it the e-news. In the e-news that went out this past Wednesday, at the bottom of the CARES updates section, there's a link to a survey about how you can help. And that list can give you a good idea of what the care team does. Options include, let's see, where is it? I had it open. Just a moment. There's the e-news, CARES section. And here we go, survey. There's the cards ministry, cards of condolence, cards of support, cards of congratulations. There are opportunities to make meals, opportunities to knit or crochet. You can run simple errands like pick up flowers, deliver flowers, pick up and deliver meals, groceries, pharmacy items, post office items, and so forth for anyone who is homebound for any reason, sick or whatever. Sometimes people, through the care team, provide light household or lawn assistance for ill or recovering members. There are opportunities to help with memorials, receptions, and hospitality. You can provide caring check-ins via email or Zoom or phone, and there can be some training for that as needed. Another way to serve is to provide caring visitations to the homebound or those in nursing homes or hospitals, and training can be available for that as well. And you can help out with care team planning and policy and programs. We have meetings monthly. And sometimes we have special events like the Death Cafe. You can help facilitate that or similar events. And this list also mentions financial support, and in parentheses says minister's discretionary fund. And so let's discuss that MDF a little bit, the minister's discretionary fund. And we're in the process of firming up some of the details about exactly how we use this fund, but the fund is available to help people in emergency financial need. And there have been many times that we've been able to do a lot of good for people who needed a little bit of help. The fund is not there to provide major financial support, and it's not there to provide ongoing financial support. It's temporary. It provides temporary small assistance, and if more assistance is needed, then we can help in collaboration with other organizations. Because in this community, there are multiple organizations that can help people in various ways. And we even have a list of those organizations that we can provide to people who need more help than we can give. But it's nice for us to be able to help out some and to pitch in. We also have pastoral care volunteers. Now, pastoral care might include sitting with you at a difficult time, listening to your pain or your struggles or your questions, possibly offering words of comfort, acknowledging that sometimes there are no right words to say. In moments of crisis, our pastoral care goal is to help you know that you are valued, worthy, and supported. And this may happen in your home, or in a hospital, or here at UUFF, or somewhere else. And most of our pastoral care providers are not licensed counselors. But what we can do is listen and give some feedback, maybe even ask some helpful questions or offer some ideas. And if your situation needs more than what we can provide, we're happy to refer you to someone else. And if you have a need in any of these areas, feel free to contact the care team. The care team email address is on the website, and I'm a member of that group. And if you send a message to that group, then it goes to several of us at the same time, and then we can discuss as needed, or if it's an emergency, then whichever one of us is available can respond, because one person can't do everything. UUFF can't do everything, but we do what we can to help, to care for each other. And no individual here can do everything, but each one of us can do something. And again, there's that survey. In this week's e-news, at the end of the CARES update section, there's that link where you can sign up for ways to help. We're all in this together, in this interdependent web. And like the numerous organisms in the fascinating soil beneath us, we depend on each other. We help each other. May it be so.
Thank you, Reverend Stephen. I think I read somewhere about the pandemic teaching us that disconnection, our sense of disconnection and isolation, is a myth, a lie. Like the pandemic taught me that for sure. I'm going to carry with me this week that image of underneath the soil, not dirt, all the worms and roots and all the things. Just, we're not alone. We're a system. We're connected. Let's take the peace with us. Rise, embody your spirit. Let's sing it about it. We're going to sing this in a round. We're going to sing it 3 times through. I'll lead this side, and the amazing and brilliant Melly will lead that side. I think everybody knows it. Yeah. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May our loving God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Yes, beautiful.
Please extinguish the chalice with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Let's try this again.
I found these closing words by UU Minister Maureen Killoran. No matter how weak or how frightened we may feel, we each have gifts that can make a difference in the world. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice and love. Be strong, be connected. Each day act so you may be a little more whole. Go now in peace, and may love surround you everywhere you go. And we'll have a prelude. Feel free to visit, move around, enjoy refreshments as we enjoy the prelude. I mean, postlude.
Me some time.